what Breed Technologies makes and how long Breed has been around. And then I asked Johnny, I heard you own various businesses. If this is true, could you tell us about those businesses? And then, how did you get involved with Breed Technologies? And that's for both of you. When did Breed start manufacturing airbags? And then I'm going to ask you, Alan, how the airbag is inflated. And then I ask Johnny, what is your favorite thing about work? And then I ask you, Alan, is it true that you are one of the 400 richest people in the world? And then I ask both of you, how did Breed begin? And then, do you two enjoy working at Breed? What are some of the jobs you do at Breed? What do you want Breed to be like in the future, like some of your goals?
Boy, oh boy. And you're going to ask him about free enterprise too, what he feels about free enterprise. So I think that's very important, Jesse, because you all talk about that in your studies, and that's one of the things on the E-team talks about free enterprise, and I think that's a very important thing, and I think I know what they'll say about free enterprise, but that's a very, very important aspect that we in our country need to talk about. Hopefully it'll get better.
And how long does this interview last?
So it's going to seem like it's a long time. It'll probably be about 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
You got a lot of material there.
Yeah.
Free enterprise?
Yeah, what do you think about free enterprise?
Did you put your airmails in there?
Well, I first heard about Breed Technology because my husband keeps up with stocks, and his accountant said, buy Breed Technology. That's all I heard, back and forth, back and forth.
And we understand how that goes.
Bought and sold, bought and sold, bought
Oh,
and sold. It was
good,
really
good.
going good there for a while.
Actually, it's going really good right now.
Great,
So yeah.
So,
All right. So we're going to try this. These are what age students?
K through 5, but we're geared toward the intermediate age, Jesse's age.
All right. Terrific.
I'm going to turn this
So
off
you're the
you
intermediate
can-
age,
You
huh?
all look good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and let me hit
Hello and good morning. I'm Jessica Eisenberg, and I'm here interviewing Alan K. Breed, who is Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Breed Technologies, and Johnny Cordell Breed, who is Vice Chairman of Breed Technologies. Now let's get to know these two. Johnny, where were you born?
I was born in Jacksonville, Florida, so I'm from Florida originally.
Alan, where were you born?
I was born in Chicago, Illinois.
Tell us about yourselves, like if you have children, how long you've been married, and where you live.
Well, yes, Johnny and I together have 6 children between us. All of these children were from former marriages, but we've been married almost 9 years now. We live presently in 3 places. Our official home is in Texas, believe it or not. We have a home over in Orlando, and we have a home up in Vermont. Now, Johnny, why don't you amplify that a little bit?
Well, just for the children, we have 4 boys and 2 girls.
Do you have any grandchildren?
We have 8 wonderful, extraordinary grandchildren.
And they range in age from about 8 years to 15.
Yes. And we're lucky we have 5 of those grandchildren here in Licoln, in Plant City, and Brandon.
Now about Breed Technologies. Some children don't know about Breed. Could you explain what Breed makes?
Okay, Breed Technology is in the airbag business. We make the little sensors that set the airbag off when you get in a crash. And we also make the complete airbag systems. That's the bag itself, and the part that actually inflates and cushions you in the event of a bad accident.
How long has Breed been around?
Well, Breed Technologies is actually what we would call a spin-off, or a company that grew out of Breed Corporation. Breed Corporation goes back to 1961 when I started there.
Johnny, I heard you own various businesses. If this is true, could you tell us about some of these businesses?
Well, yes, I do have some businesses aside from Breed Technologies. One company is called Ground Transportation Services, and that company now is almost 20 years old. And it's sort of a travel agency, but only for the government. And we work with young men and young women who are going into the military services. When they see their recruiter, and then they're accepted in the military, and then they go to their first training station, we provide the transportation for them. And then another company that I have is called Transcore. And Transcore is a travel agency also that works with the Department of Labor and also does commercial work.
How did you two get involved with Breed Technologies?
Well, the airbag technologies that we use in Breed is very similar to the technology that I used to use in the military as a Department of Defense contractor in making of munitions. The similarity in technology was apparent to us way back in 1968, and so I entered into the airbag field at that time. The airbags were not very active or very pursued very much until the mid-1980s, when they suddenly began to become very much in demand. Johnny, why don't you tell Lisa how you got involved? Jessica, how you got involved?
He was just talking to Lisa. How I got involved was I met Alan at a health exercise clinic many years ago, and Alan explained to me that he was in the airbag business. And then a couple of years later, we ran into each other in an airport, and Alan was still pursuing the airbag business, but unfortunately, his finances were not quite as quickly coming. He had lots of ideas and he had patents and everything on the technology, but what I do best is administration, and I know how to borrow money from banks and how to get people to put money into companies. So I came to Breed Technologies in 1986 for the purpose of doing the administrative side of the company and coming up with the financial help that the company needed at that time.
When did Breed start manufacturing airbags?
Well, for installation in automobiles, we started making them in 1985. Actually, we had made prototypes for testing going way back to the early 1970s. But for actually installation in cars, we started making them in about 1985, 1986.
Alan, could you tell us about how the airbag is inflated?
Yes. When you get in an accident which is severe enough so that you want an airbag, then a sensor up in the front of the car closes a little electric switch, and that activates a gas-producing powder, which is right in the steering wheel, for example. And that powder turns into gas real quickly and inflates the airbag. It's very similar to when a bullet in a gun, when the firing pin hits the back of the bullet and then it ignites the gunpowder, and that makes gas in a real big hurry and blows the bullet out the front of the gun. Airbags work the same way. You ignite the powder, it makes gas very quickly and blows the bag up in time to cushion you in a severe crash.
Johnny, what is your favorite thing about work?
What is my favorite thing about work? Okay.
Me.
My favorite thing about work, I guess, is the opportunity to meet all the people like you.
Alan, is it true that you're one of the 400 richest people in the world?
Well, I think what you're referring to, Jessica, is that we were recently, Johnny and I together were put on a list in Forbes magazine, which said we were together now, not just me alone. Together we were one of the richest families in the United States, not the world.
Oh, okay. How do you feel about the free enterprise?
Well, I'm very much in favor of free enterprise, because that's really what enabled Johnny and I to start out in a very humble way and work real hard and develop a business and become very successful in that business. So we're very much in favor of free enterprise.
How did Breed begin?
How did Breed begin, Mr. Breed?
Well, let's see. Go way back to 1961 when I actually had left another company that I had started in 1957 called Waltham Engineering, and that company became Redm, R-E-D-M, and that company was taken public, and then I left that company and I had enough money in 1961 to start Breed Corporation.
Do you two enjoy working at Breed?
Johnny?
Well, first of all, Alan doesn't know that he's working because this is just what he does. And I understand that one of the definitions of work is you're only working when there's someplace else you'd rather be. And since Alan would rather be no place other than Breed Technologies, I would say that he enjoys working there, and we enjoy working together.
What are some of the jobs at Breed that you two do?
Well, that's a good question, Jessica. I guess the main thing we do is sort of direct in what direction the company is going to go, what products we're going to make, and we have to hire the people that are going to run the company. And like your dad, he runs that whole section that tests all the inflators and the parts that blow up the bag. So we select people and we as to carry out the functions of the company, and then we decide what the company is going to do on a day-by-day basis.
What do you want Breed to be like in the future, like some of your goals?
Well, I guess we'd like Breed to keep growing and growing and become bigger and bigger. Right now, we're somewhere between $400 and $500 million of business a year, and we'd like it to be $1 billion a year in several years. And if we're real fortunate and successful, we will be.
Also, today, we're the leading sensor supplier on the airbags, and what we'd like to be is the dominant leader of airbag systems in the world.
Is there anything else you'd like to add about your company or yourself?
Well, I would like to say that we're real pleased that we decided to come to Licoln to have our company headquarters, corporate headquarters. We like it down here an awful lot. Our home, one of our homes is over in Orlando here, which is a little bit of a commute, but we like it over there an awful lot. So we're, I think, just generally very pleased with the fact that we chose to come to Florida and come to Lakeland and become part of the neighborhood here.
Thank you. Lincoln Avenue Academy is very grateful that you could take some time out of your busy schedule to come and tell us about you and airbags.
We're very happy that you invited us,
Thank
Jessica.
you.
I'd be happy to come whenever you would like to talk to us again.
So how do we do, guys?
Jessica is a very fine interviewer.
I was going to say, she's very calm and right together. She went right through her notes.
She is,
Yeah, my
does very
parasol.
well. I'm sure you two have done this before.
A few times.
What shows, television shows or interviews that have you?
Well, Alan is, of course, he's been on, Alan's been on forever all over the place, CBS and all.
Oh no.
Don't tell me you're having sound problems today.
It happened during ATV too.
We have a little bit of a problem with sound. We're going to rectify that. We're going to get a new.
This is a public school,
Mhm.
and the idea of a magnet school, if you need us to come back and do it again, we'll be glad to do that.
Okay. Well, that's what that said. We thought, I bought new cables yesterday, and I said,
Mr. Badger is that one guy that's gonna take over Miss Williams' class? Yeah, he's pretty nice. No, he wasn't. Just didn't know his name. well, it's 8:15, girls. I don't know what Mrs. Payne's going to do about it, the program. You guys work very hard. I'm very upset. Why?
I just can't do it. I'm very sorry that I'm getting upset. We've got it taped, and that's it. You guys did a good job.
Okay.
When the robes come off,
The two that look like this, you know, the Suzuki guy on there, are from the county. They want us to preview them, so Becky's gonna do one today and kindergarten's gonna do one.
Wow, looks like Louise's whole rest home showed up. Must be liver and onions day in the cafeteria.
Apparently when they heard Fraser Crane from the radio was speaking, the whole rest home turned out. They can't wait to hear what he has to say.
Neither can he. He's huddled in the rectory, still working on his first sentence.
How did the scat...